Governor Granholm, I hope that you have appreciated the range of questions that you've heard here today. I was just sharing with my friend and colleague here. I'm riveted here in the conversation that's been going back and forth. Since I'm not really chairing anymore, I don't have to sit here, but I think what is being discussed today is so significant and it's so important to the country that I really want to hear your views here. And I hope what you have heard is that in certain parts of the country, we are very much your resource anchor. Whether it's West Virginia coal or Wyoming coal, or whether it's oil from Alaska, whether it's coal from Alaska, we are your resource anchor. Now, I'll let my colleagues speak to the manufacturing capabilities in both Wyoming and West Virginia, but in Alaska, we don't manufacture a lot. What we do is we provide for all of you so that in Michigan, in Ohio, in other parts of the country, we're doing all this Buy America, Made in America, but it's got to start from somewhere. And so when we're talking about this transition to the clean energy jobs, and believe me, Alaskans want those clean energy jobs just like all Americans do. We want to be able to access those resources that we have in the ground, whether it be oil, whether it be natural gas, whether it be coal or minerals. We want to be able to access that in a way that is environmentally responsible, that does work towards reduced emissions. But we still recognize that you're still going to need what we have. And so when we're talking about this transition, we have to realize that that transition and where these jobs are and what these jobs are going to be different depending on where we are. And so for us in resource-based states, I just hope you hear the concern. It's not that I want to keep us back in time. I want us to be able to move forward. We're a state that's seeing the daily impact of climate change, and so we know we need to be aggressive, but we also know that we have to be the provider, if you will. And so as we're talking about how you can come in and assure, whether it's the worker in Louisiana or in Mississippi or in West Virginia, that your job may change, I hope you appreciate and understand the anxiety in families, in the anxiety in communities and in whole states. In whole states. My state of Alaska, it is our oil resources that have allowed us to build our schools, build our roads. And so I share this with you with a great deal of passion, because while we transition, we have to ensure that the assets that we have in the ground that will allow us to be energy secure and energy and economically and environmentally secure. We're going to need us. And so when I think about the asset that we have in Alaska, the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, we've been flowing oil to help the people of California so that they don't have to import as much oil from Venezuela or from the Middle East. We think that that actually helps. We think that our mineral base helps the country. It's not just jobs for us, but it helps us. So I hope that you would agree that the resource base, the assets that we have, things like the Trans-Alaska Pipeline and why it's important to keep it filled up, are important not only from an asset perspective, but for the jobs and the security that they provide to the nation.
Yeah. Senator, I completely understand this, and I so appreciate your sincere passion on the part of people you represent who are full of anxiety. I the experience that I had, I feel like I get this so much because the experience I had in Michigan seared my soul on behalf of workers who were feeling utter anxiety about who is ever going to hire me. So the amazing opportunity we have, as you and I discussed, is for states, I mean, Alaska in particular, because of being a state where we can pilot so many different types of technology. But as Senator Barrasso has said, as Senator Manchin has said, the use of technology allows us to be able to ensure families that they can still have a job, and we can use technology to reduce carbon emissions, and that we can still use the resources we have, and we can reduce carbon emissions. I completely understand what you're saying, and I appreciate your sincere passion on behalf of those you represent. I share that, and I look forward to working with you to make sure that we keep people employed.
And I think you'll see from our Energy Act that we passed, we focus keenly on that technology.
Yes.
But again, that technology will allow us to be able to harvest these resources, because that's what we're doing. We're harvesting it. We're harvesting them in a cleaner way, but we will still be relying on this base resource. And so I again, urge you to focus on that.